We'll have short question and answer. Any questions?
Could you discuss a little bit the relationship between the technique that you taught us here of being with the thought as it arises and not doing anything with it, and the technique of going out with the breath and labeling thoughts thinking? This technique seems more Mahamudra-like in some way.
되게 탈도 되다 자기 전부 쓰나 되게 어렸어. 근데 찍디 단남도 뭐 봤다 와당 찍 남도 시야로 이렇게 값을라. 근데 남도 시야로 왔지. 근데 소소하게 멋이 받체네. 근데 뒤 근데 가서 그래 봐 제수만 나와 가고 막 가봐 제가 되니 다 찍고 없어요. 그리고 저한테 데리고
네, 제가 제가 찍듯이
인주 근데 다른 남도 공부도 봤다는 남도 거라면도 선부터 자기 전부 써야 드레스 이내 단대 뒤값을 다른 남도도 스트로잉 값을 남도도 멋이 받자 시작해야 돼.
At present, it seems to be very much similar. One is really looking at the very nature of the thought that arises, and in the which again developing some awareness, the mindfulness of the thought, and the moment thought arises, you look at that nature. In the other shamatha, that you try to be again mindful, not let your mind distract. So therefore, to maintain the mindfulness, you try to concentrate on the breath that you're inhaling and exhaling. The technique is very much towards the development of mindfulness, and of course, eventually, that the one that we are looking at directly at the nature of the thought, seeing there's no substance, solid concreteness in thought, you get into Mahamudra. So the shamatha itself is really classified into many different stages of the shamatha with the object, shamatha without object. So at present, when you're concentrating on breath, is that object is breath, and later on as you so later on when you develop, then it becomes objectless shamatha. But the reason why you are concentrating on breath now is again not letting your thought distracted towards the mind distracted amongst the thoughts. So in order to develop that mindfulness, the breath is used as a development to the mindfulness.
Thank you. So, but what we were doing here was more without object, more
just now
that style.
What we did here.
Object.
How did you meditate?
Without object. With just being with the thought as it arose and seeing its empty quality and not using breath or technique.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's good. That's good. But I thought since you're doing this the technique that you have used this today, and based on that, when you have new thoughts, and then just look at the thoughts. But you did well.
Any more questions?
Yeah.
About the problem of understanding too much with the intellect or understanding the words of the practice. I do this quite a bit. And I wondered whether or not it might be worthwhile to not study, if you would ever suggest to not study the writings for a while and perhaps just limit oneself to practice of sitting meditation.
It would be more advisable if you integrate that together, studying, meditation, both.
아니 대체 통해시라야 그래서.
Yeah, if you can do it together, that's best.
아니 다촌 너든지 가서 그래. 저랑기 단다 다 냠는디 근데 배는 책 고할 때네 파 삼샤바 많이 먹었어. then come 냠녀시고요. 그래서 드셔야 되고요. 그래서
So what we have been trying to point out today or this evening is that not only exaggerated through the words or little meaning that you have understood, but rather to gain some experience or realization through the meditation or practice. However, that does not mean you should not study at all.
So you should combine together.
Should samatha best be done with the eyes open? And if so, what are the reasons behind it and the benefits as opposed to with the eyes closed?
다티 간지나야 당부 해요 말레스. 배나 단단하란서 닌다고 시에요래. 아니 룩 다 남나 추드는 것도 제베이나. 근데 미게 나절 따스게 줘요레스. 근데 팀마 임베게 야 something 르네 나스게 제 송요레스. 대값으로 미게 좀나 인덱스네 송요레스. 근데 얘나면은 근데 당부 다 당부바 소라 맥좀바이나 지 가서 오래 쌈디 다 맥이 통 마통와체네 근데 쌈바 준대완다고시 요레스 근데 림디게 근데 가서 오래 맥당데 제베이나 데 가르스는 검제베 가서 인지 맥좀데 관한다고 지 때문에 검마토베 한다고 근데 다 용거요 봐 그래서 인도 아니 소요래. 근데 마세베게 근데 제단게 땡은질라. 근데 신의 도스컴에 가서 껴니 연구요 소요래스. 단다데 정화도 껴 봐. 그 인도 근데 되게 탑라야. 근데 가시 단 정화 티백 값을用것은 맥야 토스다야라고 당. 근데 소요래스.
It is really explained to different aspects of the meditation. That according to the 7-point meditative posture, that in there it explains that you sort of open your eyes and look directly from tip of your nose to the ground, and so that is the accordance with the 7-point meditative posture. Then there is the samadhi posture. In there, it explains not exactly looking to the tip of your nose, but even if you close your eyes, that is fine. And so, because of that two different aspects of the explanation, I think that whatever one is more comfortable, one could really do with one's eyes opening or closing. But more so, again, it is based upon how you are feeling when you're doing meditation. There are two defects that you experience during meditation, weaknesses, or such as drowsiness and agitation. When you are experiencing drowsiness, then because you feel drowsiness and sleepy, you try to open your eyes and make some sort of effort to stretch your body. And on the other hand, if you the eyes are not only looking from the tip of your nose down, but to directly as far as possible, looking so to kill that very feeling of drowsiness.
Tendes chende sungyores. Tene timma sebege tene mik zum shaji komgyab tebe ina mik dangwe kapsul tene komgyab machine chagres.
So one has to make familiar with both closing and opening eyes. Otherwise, if you make too much used to simply closing your eyes, the moment you open your eyes, you cannot meditate.
제가 다 나랑 그 섬에 약속돼 그냥 당부 값을 텐데스더니 나전에 봤다야 되고 그랬어.
So personally, I think that you must follow at the beginning as that looking directly from the tip of your nose and then gently suit to your state of feeling or mood.
How does one bridge from samatha to enter into vipassana? How does one go through and enter into that state? And is a teacher's guidance necessary? And if so, who is there to guide one?
세상 lang통의 instruction 소소 요레스. 대나는 알아서 자기 자신을 지는 익세 요레스. 소소자의 남에게 오르시 요레스.
Generally, yeah, according to Mahamudra, that there is a specific instruction for vipassana that is given by your lama or instructor.
아니, 테니 제단게 단다 테마임바 나는 년투그 룩다베게 테니 신의 상도를 공부이나 테니 라버지이나 저 테니 베나 가서 오래 셈 가서 다 단다 가바이네 셈 때bat제 거기서 테니 들 때는 상도인데 라슈기티게 요새야죠 그래서
However, according to the Savakayana practice, that mainly at the beginning you really train your mind to concentrate upon whatever object that you have been asked to use at the first, and using that very technique or method of concentration, then out of that take birth of the vipassana. That's what, according to the Savakayana, they explain. Karma paten tembe nyingbo chodra kunja chabden jumeche tabara bebe dashi